Welcome everybody to another episode of the Sons of Montezuma podcast. It's a Kiss the Rings episode tonight, and we want to thank you guys for joining us on YouTube, Twitter, all over the internet. We thank you guys. You can obviously find us at Sons of Monty on Twitter, Instagram, Sons of Montezuma, Facebook, all that good stuff. Of course, all of the audio versions will be available first thing in the morning on all streaming platforms. You can find me at Mateo San Diego on Twitter. And, well, I still call it Twitter. I still know it is Twitter. What's going
It's
on,
still
Fiend? It
Twitter.
is, you cannot stop him. You can only hope to contain him. We all know him. You all love him. What's going on, Fiend? How are you doing, man?
Oh man, is it May yet? I'm tired, man. Long season, and now the transfer portal trying to keep up with all this news. It's crazy. It moves fast.
The basketball season does not ever end, man. It's ongoing, and in San Diego, there's so much to pay attention to. You know, we love our Aztecs, so we figured we'd tap in a little bit to this transfer portal madness a little bit. But before we get into that, want to appreciate everybody joining in the stream as we see you guys jumping in. You can watch us on X and Twitter, but if you want to interact with us in the comments, that's a YouTube thing. So make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Basketball season never ends. It never ends. Thank you, Sarah. We see you with the super. Thank you so much. Let's see. Okay, this is a basketball episode, but before we get into anything, Sarah wants to know first order of business. Let's get it out of the way. What's the tailgate situation this Saturday? Is the first spring game, right, at Snapdragon Stadium for the football team. So, Sarah, tonight's a basketball episode, but tomorrow I will be recording with the football guys, the original Sons of Montezuma, K5 James and Mr. Dan. I'm not sure if we're gonna go live. We might record that and post that at another time, but we'll be talking some football. So, as you guys know, Sons of Montezuma, we love to tailgate. We'll be there at Snapdragon Stadium in the yellow lot. We'll be hoping to take over the grass section as we usually do. So if you guys all make it down there this Saturday for the spring game, we'd love to see you out there. It's a rare time, a rare chance that we can all kind of come together, interact. No more basketball, games for the rest of the year. So to get out there and physically, connect with our community, that's something we love to do. So Sarah, I hope I see you there, of course. And if not, I'll see you inside the stadium for sure. Fiend, you gonna make it down this weekend, man? I
Oh,
haven't even asked you
definitely.
about
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I definitely am excited about this Aztec fast concept, and I really want to see a wide open offense this year. And I really am just intrigued by this coach and just the enthusiasm that he has brought to the program, and so I'm excited to see what they've been working on and how it looks so far on the field. I know it's not a finished product, but definitely gonna get a glimpse of what we're gonna see in the fall.
Yeah, I haven't talked to the football guys. Like, we haven't done a recording at all this year. This will be our first football recording, so I'm really excited to get into that. But as we mentioned, guys, this is a Kiss the Rings episode. I want to thank you guys. T Mac, I see you. We'll get to that in just a little bit. What do we know at this point, Fiend? What do we know? The season ended. Of course, the Aztecs back-to-back Sweet 16 appearances for the first time ever in program history. It's a banner raising season. No matter how you slice it, no matter how the season ended, it's a banner raising year. We know this. What else do we know? Jaden Ledee, I'm sporting the bucket. Jaden gets buckets. I'm sporting the hat. If you guys haven't got one of these, get it while you can, because the man is on his way to the league, and it's gonna happen. So we've been very proud to make these for him. So I got to wear it up here on the screen. But Jaden Ledee gets the Carl Malone Award. You can't you can't gloss that over enough, because Aztec Nation, as we know, this is the first time any Aztec has ever won that award. I mean, Michael Cage was the longtime beloved big man in Aztec Nation. But anytime you're compared to a Karl Malone Hall of Famer, I mean, the mailman delivers. And like we said, Jaden Ledee, I mean, he just delivered every game in and game out. He showed up. He was dominant, and it's great to see him get that that publicity, especially going into a potential draft situation, right, Fiend?
Yeah, it seemed like he got more recognition from the national people than our own conference.
Mm.
Losing out to Great Osabar for the coaches pick for the Mountain West Conference Player of the Year. But yeah, I mean, amazing accolades. I'm just honored to like have been able to arm wrestle him at the beginning of this season. And to say that I arm wrestled an All American to a draw, that's awesome, man. Not many people get to say that, so.
Oh yeah, yo, keep take it easy, take it
The
easy.
fiend
Give
of
me
a
some.
microphone. I'm the microphone fiend. The fiend of a
All
microphone.
right,
I'm the
all
mic.
right. Well, the mic's not here tonight, so we gotta pour it on pretty thick for Fiend because this was a Fiend weekend for sure. This is right up Fiend's alley. What we're about to talk about today. I see you guys in the chat. We're all eager to get into transfer portal madness. Okay, so if you guys have not seen the article, Fiend wrote a really part one of two article on Helica. I see her. She already says nice article, Fiend. I love anytime you take a good look at some of these players, man. You know, it gives me a chance to kind of catch up on what's going on, who are these players, all that good stuff. And I told you, man, it got me pumped. It got me pumped about the potential targets that we have actually visiting on the Mesa this past weekend. And so, you know, what are we looking at? We're losing three seniors. Obviously, Ladie that we mentioned. Darian Trammell is also a senior and out of eligibility. And of course, Jay Powell, the 1 year that he served here, just an awesome performance of a year. We really enjoyed him. Cade Alger is officially in the transfer portal. Lamont Butler's in the NBA draft process. He hadn't put his name in the portal per language, but I think we all believe and all in reports show that if the NBA is not a possibility, which it may be, but he would likely be coming home back to San Diego State. We hope, right? We hope, put our hopes in. Micah Parrish is the other name that put himself out there in the NBA process, but also in the portal as well. He actually did put his name in the portal. So, as far as what the situation is, we've got two scholarships open. If you're counting Parrish as gone. And first off, I want to say a big thank you to Aztec Nation. I think everybody's kind of handled that very well. Like Micah Parrish has been amazing in his time with us. So if that is a possibility that he decides to move on, uh, I love what I'm seeing out there online. Everybody just wishing him well. It's been very positive from everything I've seen. Of course, I look at the positive things. I don't spend time on the negative. So, what do you think with these two scholarships open? Before we dive into these two names that you detailed in the article, man.
Well, as far as the needs, I think we absolutely need a point guard to replace Trammell. That would be my number one choice. And then someone in the interior, whether that's a center, whether that's a power forward who gets rebounds and plays defense. That those would be my two choices, and it looks like that's what they're targeting right now in the portal, and that's what we brought in for I think their first visits of the transfer portal season. Now, obviously, the Aztecs got a little bit of a later start than some other programs because we got to the Sweet 16, and so whenever you get that far, maybe you're doing a little more catch up because your staff is focusing on the opponents that you're playing and not reaching out to and studying tape of players in the transfer portal. But I like the two guys that they selected to they agreed to come to campus to for an official visit, and we'll see. There's a lot of competition out there, right? And um, I I would feel a lot more confident if these guys were like, okay, it's between SDSU and someone else, but they haven't come out and said that. So I don't really know where we stand with either of these recruits as far as what they're leaning toward and what they want to, whether they might commit or not. But I think both of them, and I'm speaking about Nick Boyd, point guard from Florida Atlantic, and Rashan Ag, power forward from Bowling Green. Both those guys, I think, would fit in well with uh, what we need to fill in the transfer portal.
T Mac, thank you for the super. He says, I know we have a year to wait, but I believe that we will have a very talented team and the transfer portal will be good to us. I'm feeling that ways as well. I think, Fiend, with those two names that you just brought up, we're going to take a look at both of them. But, despite how things may shake out, I know we've got a lot of young talent in this team they're waiting to crack that starting lineup, whether it's a Bird, um, you know, Saunders, of course, he spent his time in the starting lineup. But that experience, we're going to need some experience. We're going to need some grown man strength to come in here and kind of mix in well with the younger guys, like you pointed out in the article. That's what's been so beneficial to this program, is having that mix, right? And just being able to ride the next wave of the next class. It's never a rebuilding thing; it's a reloading thing. So I'm with you, T Mac. I feel very good, feel very positive. Let's get into what the positives are with these two names in particular, because I love where T Mac's head is at, and where your article was at. So the first name you brought up, Fiend, in the article, Nick Boyd. We are talking about, yes, the point guard from FAU. That FAU 6'3". His measurables around 170. He looked a little bigger to me, man. I mean, we all know Nick Boyd and the FAU team as Aztecs fans, right? And most notably, right? I mean, he hit a bunch of threes against us in the Final Four game, but when Lamont Butler raised up for that shot, he was guarding him. So I seen somebody post, I think on Twitter, like, we've got posters with them on it already. Let's bring them in. Let's bring them in the fold. Like, I love the fact that we are going after Nick Boyd and that he's interested. I love it. The fact that, he's familiar with us. I remember after that game, beating FAU, it was a devastating game if you were on that side of that loss. And the way he handled himself in the post press conference, so gracious, so respectful, like he had nothing to lower his head about, to lower his chin about. Like, the dude realized the moment that they put FAU on the map. Those were literally his words. Like, we did what we wanted to do this year in putting FAU on the map. They didn't have the kind of season that they were expecting. I don't think they had the season that any of us were expecting. They returned a lot on that FAU team, including him, but he struggled a bit, right? Starting the year off with an injury. So tell us a little bit more about Nick, what you see from him. I love what I see as far as the character goes, but what about his game, Fiend?
I mean, I think he's a perfect complement if we bring back Lamont Butler, because both those players can play on ball or off ball. And Nick is a really good passer. He's really good coming off of screens, shooting off of the dribble. He's got a really quick release with his left hand. He's also a good spot up shooter from three. Now, what's interesting is when you look at when you look at his statistics from last year, they were down from the year before, and it's like, oh, well, maybe his game regressed or whatever. It doesn't like really pop out and get you really excited. But when you look at the splits, 'cause I had to dig a little deeper into why that he had that drop off in the production. And when he was a starter, he was hitting 40% from three. He had like a 2.5 assist to turnover ratio. He was getting 30 minutes a game. He was in a rhythm, but when got injured and then coming off the bench, he was only getting like maybe 20 minutes a game, I think. And I think that really disrupted his rhythm as a player. And it's kind of very similar case to Reese Waters. If you think about Reese when he was starting, he was really productive. He got injured, then he started coming, off the bench, and he just really wasn't the same player. And so there's some players that like they function better when they're in the starting lineup as opposed to being a rotational player. And Nick Boyd's numbers in 2024 were very similar to 2023 when he was a starter. And you got to expect that if he does come to SDSU, he chooses the Aztecs, he's going to be a starter from day one. And I would expect him to get, close to the same amount of minutes that Trammell was getting last year. So
You
I think he's just he would be a great plug and play guy with 2 years of eligibility left. That's another thing is you share the court with Lamont Butler next year if Lamont comes back. Then if you choose to stick around for another year, now you're the guy and now you're leading the team. And I think it's just with his age, his experience, what he brings to the table for skill sets, it's a perfect fit and for what we need. And I think if he commits, we're not going to go out and recruit any more guards. Maybe a guard for like a 3-point shooting guard, but that would be someone probably coming off the bench like an Adam Seiko, right? A 3-and-D guy. I know we've been linked to a guy like Xavier Dussel. Xavier's probably not going to start if he commits to SDSU. He's probably coming off the bench. A guy like Nick would start from day one. And so I just think it'd be a great fit for us. It'd be a great fit for him. I don't know where he stands. I know he had a really good visit to Louisville. But Louisville is, they brought in a new coach, right? And so they're totally revamping that roster. They have a lot of scholarships, yeah, but they're bringing in some top talent for visits. So they're bringing in Corin Johnson, Javon Hadley. I mean, they already got the guy from JMU, Terrence Edwards Jr. He's a stud. You got Kevin Boopy Miller. Dante Maddox visited with him from Toledo. So all these, and then a couple guys from FAU as well. All these guys are want to get playing starter minutes, right? And
Mhm.
so how if say 2 or 3 of them commit, how much playing time is he going to be stuck in a crowded backcourt like he was at FAU last year? We offer the opportunity for him to be a starter from day one.
T Mac, Nick has 2 years of eligibility left. I think what you're saying, Fiend, is if Lamont comes back or if he doesn't come back by any chance, that opportunity, like you said, is there. And for them to be in that backcourt together, that'd be beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. What I love to see from him is after last year. I mean, you could tell he really worked out a lot on his strength, on his body, got his body in much better shape from when we saw him in that final four, uh, that final 4 year. And yeah, man, I mean, why would you want to go to okay, I get it's Louisville, right? I get it. But I mean, what have they done? I really haven't paid it much attention. They haven't had much to pay attention to in the last several years. You're coming into something new and different that they're trying to rebuild there. Uh One thing we always talk about Aztec Nation, I mean, boy, the culture, it's been set, it's been laid, the path is there, the formula is there. Come into this fan base. I saw this tweet the other day. What was it? Talking about the best coaching jobs, the best jobs in the nation. And these accounts are so funny, man. They love to put these polls out, put their rankings out. They hold no validity to themselves. It's just something to get all these other accounts to retweet because, oh, I see my school on there. And they didn't even put San Diego in that. Like San Diego is top 10 places to live, places to do business, the fan base, the environment, the campus, the lifestyle. I mean, it is I'd rather be in San Diego than Louisville, I'll be honest
Yeah,
with
well, I mean, what do they have? They got horse racing and bourbon. I mean, that's not bad, but
we
it's
got
not like
Del
San
Mar. We got
Diego.
Del Mar.
Yeah,
We got Del Mar. It's okay.
so yeah, I think look, here's the difference between us and Louisville. Yeah, Louisville has good NIL packages, right? They've got big donors. They've got a great young coach. We faced him last year in the first round when he was coaching Pat Kelsey, when he was coaching College of Charleston. So he's bringing a lot of enthusiasm to that program. But what they're doing strategy wise is they're casting their net really large,
Mhm,
right? They're casting a wide net to try to
mhm,
grab the top talent that they can. Whereas what we've done is we've done our homework on these guys and we're saying, hey, we're choosing you, to come. We want you to come for a visit because you're valued here and we feel like you are going to fit in really well with our team and help us win. And so that's more like sort of a targeted approach than just kind of casting the net out there and seeing what bites. So I would rather be the one that's like handpicked by the other another coaching staff. Yes, a narrow approach than
Specific.
specific, right? Because
They got a role for
they're
him.
bringing in waves and waves and waves and waves of guards,
Yeah.
and they're good talent. They're really good guards, But I mean, I don't know. I mean, what's the strategy of that, right? When you're bringing in so many different players, I mean, how do you mesh that all together in 1 year?
We are Aztecs. I'm loving the bucket hat look. We're twinning right here in your thumbnail right here. But what's going on, man? I love what he says. I'm always impressed with the patience our staff has during this time to reload, right? And I think that's kind of piggybacking on what you're saying, man. Coach Dutch and Dutch we trust, man. They have a vision. They have a vision for who they're bringing in. It's not this wide net approach. They got a specific role in mind for Mr. Nick Boyd. So hey, I hope it happens, man. I hope it happens. Louisville, Kentucky versus San Diego, no comparison. That's right, T Mike. That's right. Dussel would be a great fit too, as far as guards go. Right now, he's coming in from Fresno State, if that's a possibility. What when it comes to Boyd and Dussel, what? Okay, Boyd, he's took a visit out to Louisville. What do we know from Dussel? Was he obviously he's got interest elsewhere. I saw Nevada's on his short list. I know who else? You know any other schools that were after Dussel?
Yeah, so Nevada is the other school that he's looking at right now. So it's between
Okay.
us and Nevada. But with DeSalle, he is strictly a 3-point shooter. I don't think you're getting a whole lot else with him. Like, I don't think you're getting great defense. Maybe he can learn defense, but he hasn't been a good defender in his career. But he's a great 3-point shooter. I don't think he can like create his own shot. It's more he's kind of like he's kind of like Adam Seiko without the defense. If that makes any sense. Yeah.
Now you see Kobe's point down here, Nick, about Nick Boyd and his assists per game. Does that kind of fall in line with
So
what your splits on what you were talking about earlier?
yeah, I mean that's what that's doing is that's looking okay, he had 1.8 assists per game this season, but not
Yeah.
taking into consideration that he was a reserve for several games, like half the season, and he was a starter for half the season. And when he was healthy and he was a starter, he was a much different player. And like I said, I'll take a guy who's 2.5 to 1 assists per game. He doesn't turn the ball over. That's the other thing. So even if he's not like maybe distributing as much, if he's not turning the ball over and he still has a high assist to turnover ratio, I'll take that. And 2.5 is pretty darn good. And I think that's close to what Darian Trammell was averaging last year. And I think that's in line with what he had in 2023. So again, I'm banking that if you put him in a starting role, he's going to be much more like Nick Boyd 2023 than Nick Boyd 2024. And is he going to get that? Is he going to get that at Louisville? Or is he going to have to come off the bench, play 20 minutes a game, and then he's kind of trying to get in his rhythm and whatever else was going on that was causing his game to regress last year
Injuries are
as a
so
reserve.
tricky, man. Injuries are so tricky. I read that by the time he had gotten healthy, the offense was moving in a different direction, right? Because like I look at all my weeds in my backyard, they're growing like crazy, right? Like if I don't cut them, they're gonna be out of control. Like life doesn't life doesn't begin and end with you. It keeps moving. If you don't have that time and if you're not available to be out there on the court, like your team, they got to find a way to get buckets. The offense needs to find a way to score. So by the time he came back, it was like, okay, well, offense is moving in a different direction. Like it's got to keep moving. It's got to keep going ahead.
Yeah, it obviously
So
wasn't as successful though. I mean, because they got bounced
yeah,
first round against Northwestern. They
Northwestern.
almost lost last year in the first round. I should say that against Memphis. They won on a Nick Boyd last second shot,
Yeah,
to
yeah,
advance and took it all the way to the Final Four. But they were better in 2023 than they were last
yeah.
year, and they had pretty much the same team back.
Oh boy. What is this? JB. If we get Nick Boyd and this guy, Rashan Ag, on the squad, look out. Okay, Fiend. Now, we talked about Nick Boyd. AG is a different player, and you noted it. We're looking for a guard in particular, and it looks like the staff is they're going to need to get some muscle to obviously fill in for a big void in being left behind with no Jaden Ledee. So I hadn't been able to look at too much of AG. He comes from what school? What are we talking about here, man?
Bowling Green.
Bowling Green. Now he was at Bowling Green the last 2 years. Before that, he was at New Mexico State,
No, it was at
which is a
Casper Community College in Casper, Wyoming for
right,
a
but he was
year,
at New Mexico
and
State
then at New
before
Mexico
that.
State, right?
He played like one or like under 5 games, and then
A
went to
couple of games,
Casper.
yeah.
Like you go from New Mexico State to a JC up in Wyoming. Like these are very remote
Doesn't that
locations.
sound like an Aztec though? Doesn't that sound like an Aztec? You got Yanni Wetzel going from St. Mary's in Texas to sitting on the bench at Vanderbilt to finally getting his shot to shine as an Aztec
Man,
his senior year. You know,
I
you
mean,
got
you talk about
Trey
doing your
Pulliam, who
research.
was Trey Pulliam. He was on Navarro Community College in Texas for a couple years, then joined the Aztecs. And Jay Powell, look at Jay Powell's journey. We had
Yes.
Jacksonville State, and I mean, I think he might have had a community college before that, and then he went to Campbell, and then to us. So I mean, this guy seems like he's the travel warrior that a lot of our Aztecs have been. So I think he would be a great fit in that aspect, because the dude definitely is not like homesick, because he's been traveled so much. I mean, kids get out, they're from the Midwest, they get out to the West Coast, if you could get homesick, and but no, he's been around, so I think he would be a great fit in that aspect. But he's my type of guy, man. He's from Chicago, played in the public league. He was, all public league at Bogan High School. He's just a really good physical presence. He bodies people,
Mm.
and he wasn't on anyone's radar. Let's face it. Like I don't think anyone had been talking about him. Ironically enough, so we have this website that we use at CBB Analytics, and I went on there just kind of looking at guys. Like you can look at comps, so comparison. So you can look at a comparison for Jaden Ledee, and then look at other conferences, and it'll pop up with players that kind of have a similar game based on their metrics, right? And so I looked at, I said, we need a big guy. So who are the two best big guys in the Mountain West? So I looked up Jaden Ledee, and I think the closest comp in the MAC, which Mid American Conference, was Bashir Jihad, who is a great player, and he committed to Arizona State. But the guy that I saw when I looked up Great Osibor, the closest comp to Great Osibor, was Rashan Ag. And I was like, who is this Rashan Ag? So I started looking into it, but I didn't see any evidence that we were recruiting him at all, and then boom, now, he's here on a visit. So his metrics are very kind of similar to Great. Great's a little bigger. So guys are both 6'8". I think AG is probably 225. Great's probably about 240, 245, so a little bulkier. I think Great maybe has a little better handle on the perimeter. We saw that, how he was able to take guys one-on-one and, get to the
Yeah.
hoop. I don't know if Rashawn has that in his game. He's more of a post-up player. One of the most efficient post-up players in the nation from 5 feet in. And he's really good at pump faking the ball and getting his defender up in the air, and then, moving around him and laying it in. He's really good at cutting to the basket if he's on the perimeter, cutting, catching a pass, slamming it down. He's not going to really hurt you much from mid-range out to the 3-point range. But you look at a guy like Jaden Ledee, he wasn't hurting anyone his junior year from 3-point range. I don't think he had hit a 3-point shot in his whole college career, and he turns around this year and shot 40% from 3-point range. So maybe he has that in his game if you give him some time to work on that, and he can extend his range out. But where he's going to do his damage is inside on the boards. He's a ferocious rebounder, one of the best in the nation. And that was a big problem for us this season. We saw so many games. The Connecticut game, right? UConn did kill us on the boards. At the end of the New Mexico game, we lost the Nevada game because we got beat on the boards at the end. This is a guy who would help correct that, because he cleans up everything that comes to him. So, and so I think in that respect, he'd be a great fit. Now he's 6'8". He's not your prototypical center 7-footer, right? So, and then he's not like a stretch 4 where he's gonna, stretch his range out to the 3-point line. So, if your plan is to start him and Heidi together, and Heidi doesn't have particularly great range, at least not right now. Well, now you got two guys that are kind of clogging the middle, right? A little bit. And so that's just like one of my concerns with them is, are we going to how's the floor spacing going to be with him on the floor and another big? I think if it's just him in the post, then it's fine. But if you put two big guys on the floor at the same time, that's where you could, have some problems where the lane is just clogged. There's too much traffic in there, and I don't know.
I do like what Larry Joe brings up. Is AG a type of player similar to former Aztec Josh
Yeah,
Davis? And when Josh Davis was
yeah,
playing, it was him and Skyler. Those were
yep.
that was his time, right? And neither one of them were really gonna pull you out and make you cover them because of their jumper or their mid range game. Really, he was just a grinder. Josh Davis was just a board man who board man get paid, that type of
That's a
mentality.
really good comparison that I never even thought of. Yeah, thanks,
I don't
Larry
I
Joe.
don't
That's a
think
great
we
comparison.
the only thing with that scenario is what I'm saying with Skyler is I don't think we necessarily have a Skyler. You know what I mean? We don't have. I mean, I hear what you're saying. If you put Heidi there as a center because he's got that size and he's still growing, hopefully, but he's not necessarily the athlete that Skyler was. I mean, Skyler's the all-time block leader in Aztec history. Like the dude was just
Yeah,
he clean up. He's an enforcer, but at least you would have that type of a bully down there, right? Some muscle down there, and if you have Heidi, you got more of a taller, longer presence there as well. So that could work, man. That could
that
work
could work. Yeah,
offensively. I don't think either one of them are going to be having. I don't know. Maybe they would have some sets run through them, but I think they would be there more for that presence and cleaning up.
I think you're really going to need some knockdown shooters then on the outside
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
have more, traffic in the middle.
yeah, totally. T Mac, thank you. Says I'm increasing NIL donations this year. Got to put more skin in the game. Talking about skin in the game, everybody go put some donations there at Mesa Foundation. You guys could buy our Catapult U T-shirt that's partnered with John Schaefer, of course, from the Aztecs wrap-up show. I let him know we're going to be going live a little early. Hopefully, he'll get the Padre wrap-up thing going on tonight. Padres win again, right? If I'm not mistaken. Awesome. Talk about skin in the game, man. Everybody, this is a good time for us to remind you that you can protect your skin, especially your skin down there with our Manscaped special. Don't play games with your balls, guys. Don't play games with your balls. Take 20% off and get free shipping at manscaped.com right now using our promo code SONS, SONS. We got the what do we got here? We got the lawnmower. I'm gonna keep plugging this all month. The lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. Look at that box. It's so shiny. It's so shiny. And it'll have you looking shiny too, man. I'll tell you that. Very clean. Very clean. Fiend, 20% off and free shipping. How have you been enjoying your Manscaped lawnmower?
Oh, very, very nice, man. I like it. Very smooth. I'm not going to give great details out here on the podcast, but all I can say is take care of your balls, and your balls will take care of you.
Don't play games with your balls, guys. You got to protect them. So make sure you get that 20% off, free shipping, promo code SONS at manscaped.com. Okay, guys, I see you guys all in the chat. Thank you guys for sticking around so long. We're very excited in transfer portal season. I see you Aztecs wrap up show catapult you. All that money is going directly to the Mesa Foundation, and as you guys know, Mesa Foundation has a anonymous donor that will match what is being donated right now. So be like John Schaefer, be like T Mac, increase your NIL donations. All right, let's get
Yeah,
to some of the
I
comments. Fiend. You
donated
got-
my I donated my tax refund, so
There you go.
I
There you
decided
go.
not to give it to Uncle Sam. I'm giving it to the Mesa Foundation.
I love this Kobe. Louisville's a dump. We went there for the Elite Eight. Felt like I might get shanked walking around downtown. Boy, Louisville, really? Man, I didn't know it was like that. I did not know it was like that. Oh boy. Let's see. Ah, okay, okay. Just yeah. We got some mouses in the house. Mouse in the house alert. Mouse in the house. Okay. We got you. We got you. What else should we talk about since we've already talked about two transfer portal targets? I do know that season tickets are going up. Season tickets are going up this coming year. Um, which is a given, guys. It's a given. You know, I know Viejas Arena is going to be doing some. They've been looking into renovating Viejas Arena. It's a multi-purpose arena, a lot of concerts, a lot of shows, of course, a lot of games, basketball games, and even volleyball. Professional volleyball is now a thing going on. So you know, it's a 20% increase. But I will tell you guys, after this year, I mean, it's the best sports ticket in town aside from the Padres, right? But Padres is expensive. You get a lot of games for Padres. So that is a thing. Fiend, if there was one thing that you could see Viejas Arena renovating or improving, what would that be? Because I know they're doing their studies, and that's going to be a reality because it's getting up there in age already now. I mean, what, about 20, 25 years or so?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's amazing how time flies, and that was a state of the art arena when it was built. And I think who was it? The Steve Ballmer, the owner of the Clippers. He was so impressed by sort of the setup of the arena, but he said, there's no frills. There's you're not getting any extras there. So I mean, it's a great environment to watch a game, but yes, it definitely needs a facelift and some renovations. And just looking at our experience of going to the pit. Now, the pit still has a lot of bench seating, which I think is garbage, but they have those really nice suites that are sort of above the concourse area. And I think that is sort of what Viejas is missing, is those high donor suites, that can really bring in a lot of money and give them, a really good experience. I just don't know exactly how. I'm not an architect, so I don't know how they would do that. But if they can incorporate some of the renovation into including some suites for the big donors, because look, let's face it, the big donors, like, they keep your program afloat. They contribute to the NIL. You know, us little guys. I mean, we do what we can, but they're those the big whales are the ones who are going to really fund your program, and that's true for any sports entity out there. So that I guess I probably wouldn't benefit from it much, but I think it would be a good idea to invest in some high donor suites.
See, I'm kind of the opposite thinking. I get it. The suites are right. It's a luxury. It's a luxury type of thing. I kind of love having the pricier seats down on the court, closer to the court, rather than suite boxes where you're taking people further away from center court and all that stuff. Like, the thing when I think about Viejas is it's a rowdy environment. It's a packed environment. All the attention is towards the court. It's not, the amenities, what's going on up here, on the concourses over here, things to distract you from not being in the game and watching the game. You're going to be over here having your beers and your food over here. Like, all that stuff is great. Maybe they can improve some of those things. But as long as the focus and the energy stays, if the energy stays towards the game, let's keep it focused on the game. That's the charm of Viejas, right? And those are what recruits that, I mean, we've seen it from so many other recruits that have came in through the Aztec program. It's about the environment, the loud, the show, the chants, the energy, the enthusiasm. No doubt when I look at these two freshmen that will be incoming from Las Vegas, from the Las Vegas area, right? We're talking about Taj DeGorville and Farrell Compton. Right now, they are playing in an AAU circuit, right? I think it was Rod Wave. They're playing. Man, it is those AAU games out there in Vegas. From what I've been seeing, both of them, they're playing on the same team. They look rowdier, way more fun than a Rebels game. I'll tell you that. It look way better than a UNLV game. Like tons of kids out there going crazy, like Farrell's dunking, all these, man, they're just having a blast out there together. And to know that they're coming to San Diego, they're gonna be expecting that same amount of just fandom, So anything that we can do to fortify the fan experience, the legit fan, the ones that are going to make noise, they're going to be on top of the opposition. I'm all for that. Luxury boxes, okay, I get it. That's top dollar. I'm not going to argue with that. But if there's a way to improve even more the fan experience, that's what the recruits want to play in an environment like that.
Yeah, you can do both. I mean, I think they invested in some of those metal detectors that were a lot quicker to get through this year than in previous years, and I think that improved the overall fan experience because there wasn't a bottleneck trying to get into the arena right before tip off, and half the arena is full. Because everyone's trying to get through security, and so things like
Yeah.
that definitely, make the fan experience better. And I think they've done some really good things there. Like, now they have like that beer court, or the selection of like beer vendors. I mean, you have a lot of food vendors there, so you're not just purchasing, nachos and hot dogs and stuff like that. There's a lot more variety there. So, yeah, there
I
you
love
go.
that, Adam. VIP suites were at Trujillo's and Los Panchos. Hey, shout out to Trujillo's. They listen to the pod. We appreciate you guys there at Trujillo's. They're all good friends of the show. Every time I go in there, yeah, I remember I sold them a hoodie years back. I sold them a hoodie years back. The one I got a cease and desist over. I had to stop selling that hoodie. But I appreciate them. They're great. T Mac, I love beer, but I gave up drinking so that I could use the money for NIL. There you go. There you go. There we go.
Everyone's got to make sacrifices, Thanks, T Mac.
Your liver thanks you as well, man. Yes, very much. Oh, Fiend, how we feeling, man? I like these two names we talked about. We're dropping your article on AG first thing in the morning. Today was Boyd's article. Tomorrow's AG's article, so you guys can see it in fine print and get up on these two portal names. Now, these are just two names that made visits that you're probably interested in the most, right?
I would say, well, I mean, there's other guys out there that, you have like sort of a wish list or a dream list, but the reality is that, we probably don't have the funding to get some of the top names that are out there, and that's okay, because there are plenty of great talent in the portal. You don't need to go out and get a 4 or 5-star transfer portal recruit to have a very successful season next year. You just need to find the right guy, right? And there are so many so many guys in the portal, and I'm constantly looking at guys from lower conferences, even like Division 2 or junior college. I mean, I like to watch tape, so that's what I do. And there's just a lot of great talent out there, and you can find diamonds at these little lower levels that probably aren't going to command as much NIL money as some of the guys transferring from these Power 5 schools. So and I will say that whoever made the comment of "don't panic" right now, we're halfway through the portal, right? It opened on, I think, April 1st. Is that, or no? before that, but we have 15 days left, basically. So the portal closes on May 1st. We have 15 days. There's more people there. We could land someone who hasn't even jumped in the portal yet. They jump in the portal, then we, bring them in for a visit, and that's who we get. So be patient. I'm not worrying. I'm fully confident that Dutcher and his staff know what they're doing, that they're going to find the right pieces for next year. And so I'm just I'm excited to watch this whole process, develop. I'm a little exhausted as well, though.
I can hear Mike's voice right now. And if they don't come, they're not our guys, Fiend. They're just not our guys. They're not our guys.
They're not
our guys. They're not. All right. Oh, we'll see you next time, Mike. Fiend, got anything else? Any parting shots before we call this one a little early, so you guys can all go over to John Schaefer's Padres wrap-up show because the Padres won. I know we're not all Padre fans in the stream, but we are. I am. Any parting shots?
Again, yeah, that's another good question, Dave. Thank you very much for asking that question. Who is going to replace Acker as the assistant coach? That would be nice to know, because you bring another coach onto the staff, that's going to alleviate some of the pressure from the other coaches for all the duties that they have to do, because they're having to pick up the slack for Acker, leaving. Congrats to Acker. I think it's great that he got the head coaching job, but that puts more pressure on our assistant coaches. So yeah, I'm very interested to know who they're going to bring in as the next assistant coach. Probably an offensive minded coach, I believe.
I think we talked about it in the last episode before it was officially official, but we all knew the reports and all that stuff. So, man, I haven't heard anything as far as names to replace him. I mean, Adam, I see you pointing out Tim Shelton, who's at Colorado State, just finished his first year at Colorado State. So we'll see about that. I mean, we talked about who else did we talk about? We threw some other names out there, of course. Coach Hutt.
Justin
but
Hudson,
he's a defensive coach.
Exactly.
He's a defensive-minded coach, which still could be a thing. I mean, I've heard some other names. Well, I think we threw out Jay Morris's name, but we don't really know exactly what's going on in his situation as well after being at USC. So I mean, until we hear some kind of report,
he let go? Was Jay Morris let go when what's his name?
I mean, I would think that's a total change there, because they brought in Arkansas boy, so I mean, he's bringing in whoever.
Yeah,
you should take his shirt off again, and whoever they brought that clown over there to USC. So I mean, who knows what he's gonna do with that staff? I mean, that's gonna be an interesting one. Musselman at USC, that's an interesting one.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, they've got Musselman's a good recruiter. Let's face it, he's a good recruiter, and recruiting Southern California is going to be very, very competitive between him and Mick Cronin at UCLA. Excuse me, and then us. I mean, there's three big time schools there, three big time basketball programs that are vying for recruits.
Adam, Juwan Howard. We heard that name already before as well. Juwan Howard. That was
Juwan Howard's coming here. No,
I don't think so either. We kind of we did briefly bring that up. And okay, John from the wrap-up show, Padres wrap-up show, he says he's celebrating with family out east. So and Jim's celebrating his fiance's birthday. So no Padres wrap-up show tonight, guys. Sorry about that, but enjoy your guys' time, John. Enjoy it. Yeah, I don't know about Juwan. That'd be fun. I'd be open to it, but I think specifically for an offensive coach, I would have to think Dutch has got his short list specifically. So we'll have to see how that goes. I'm not Teen Wolf. Teen Wolf. Hey man, get Michael J. Fox out there on the court. He's trouble. Give him a clipboard in his hand. He's even more trouble. Let's go. I'm open though. Until we hear a name, a legitimate report, anything we throw out there is just, it's a wish list.
Yeah, I mean, I have not heard anything on that front, so we'll see. But I would imagine it would be a priority for Dutch. You'd want to get that filled soon.
Yeah.
I would think,
Yeah.
because that gives you another person,
Recruiting.
helping out with just the day-to-day operations and the recruiting and checking on the players. I mean, because like they're having to recruit the players that from last year's team to get them to stay so they don't jump in the portal. So you need all the bodies you can. And so yeah, I would think that that would be one of the first priorities, would be to hire that position.
All right.
But
All right,
anyway,
man. Yeah.
all right,
I'm
man.
excited. A lot to be
I am
excited
too.
about.
I am too. The bottom line is like, we see all these teams that are getting good recruits, like Boise State. They got Alvaro Cardenas from San Jose State. I know New Mexico has been really doing well in the portal as well. Like, I have I have full confidence in Dutcher and his staff that we're going to be contending for a Mountain West Conference championship again next year,
Yeah.
regardless of what the roster looks like on April 15th.
I agree with that. The defense is the calling card. We got a lot coming back. It's easy to look at the portal and be like, who do we need to bring in? Who do we need to bring in? But it's like, man, we got so much in the cupboard already. I'm excited about the guys that are coming back and them elevating their game up to the next level. What are you? Wow, Fiend's arm
I'm looking
wrestling. The
at Team
reason
X.
why
Team X question.
was that the reason why Ladie had to sit out the Irvine game because his arm wrestling?
I'll be honest with you, T Mac. I was scared shitless, man, that I did something to his elbow. That was the reason why he had to sit out the Irvine game.
Oh, come on. There's nothing you could have done to Ladie's elbow that would have hurt him.
It
Nothing.
was a draw. What are you talking about?
Okay, we'll let you keep living with that delusion. That delusion, Fiend.
It is a delusion. You're right. I fully admit it.
All right, everybody. Thank you guys for joining. I hope you enjoyed our breakdown of these two players, Nick Boyd and of course Mr. AG. We'll see what happens. We got our preferences, so hopefully we hear some names committing to the program very soon. Until next time, everybody stay safe, and Aztecs football this Saturday at the spring game, Snapdragon Stadium that week. Look out for that episode with me and the Sons of Montezuma football guys. All right, Fiend. Until next time, man. We'll see you guys soon. Everybody have a safe night. Go Aztecs. Go Aztecs.
Thanks for joining, everyone. Go Aztecs.
See y'all.